I'm glad that we are having some of this conversation about taxes, revenues, the state role, the local. If you look at, in Colorado is a great example. I think if you go back far enough in time and then look at the growth trend, there's also a correlation to their passage and adoption of the Taxpayers' Bill of Rights. So at the state level, their state government is limited. It cannot grow faster than that mechanism allows. And as a result, you can look at last year, Michigan's state budget as a share of our economic output is about 60% larger than what Colorado's is, right? And to your point, maybe they're able to make more decisions locally. I think a 20-year rolling average, we're about 50% higher on the budget side in the state of Michigan. So it's fascinating that they're able to achieve what they are while at the state level spending a lot less money. And I want to tie that in. We actually in Michigan attempted to adopt a fiscal rule that would constrain the growth of government. And it triggered last year for the first time, and our tax rate as a result went down. And then a lot of people got involved and fought very passionately to make sure that that tax rate went back up. And what sort of signal do you think that sends on a growth trajectory for a state to say, if you move here, the government at the state is so addicted to our revenue streams and our spending that we will make sure to fight to increase your taxes even when there is a law that says we're going to try to limit the growth of government. What sort of signal does that send to people that want to move here and growing the future of our state?
Yeah, what I would say is that, having looked as much as we have over the last year or so at all the states across the country, really, and of course really deeply at some of the peer states that we've looked at, some of whom have a higher tax base than Michigan, some of whom have a lower tax base, either as a percent of personal income and also as a percent of the net product of the state, because of course there's a million ways that you can look at taxes. There are faster growing peer states that have, as you know, higher taxes than Michigan, faster growing ones that have lower. But what they all have in common truly are having achieved some of those outcomes that we in Michigan haven't always achieved. And I think that's what we should focus on. That's my strong belief, that we have to figure out, irrespective of how you get it done, how to get to those outcomes. And I don't think personally that, I think that's where we need to point our energy. So I think that's the signal we have to send to folks, that when you come to Michigan, you'll be guaranteed to be able to, have access to higher and faster growing median incomes and a strong economy, that you'll be guaranteed to have access to a great education and great education outcomes for your kids, and that you'll be able to live in places, that we know folks are looking for and love. Because when we have done all that polling and what have you, it's not that taxes aren't on there, they absolutely are, and fiscal health and things like that, but they aren't at the top in the way that some of those outcomes that I'm naming are. So that's my opinion.